FM.
Hi, we got a new drug for you. We welcome you into Afternoon Drive. We've been in Dallas all day long. Frank Frangie. Hays Carlyon has the week off. JJ LaSelva back at World Headquarters. Matt Hayes, Mia O'Brien also on the road. Whew. You tired?
No, because unlike you, I didn't take that 5 a.m. flight in this morning, and you bet I'm going to say that live on the air. Absolutely.
Wait a second, Carlyon's off again?
They got to take a vacation.
We're just taking shots left and right.
Yeah, we are.
We've been rolling since early this morning.
But always take a shot at a guy. It's the rule of thumb I have. When he can't defend himself. That's kind of a rule of thumb. He's not here to defend himself. So we got a full show planned for you. I hope you've heard a lot of the stuff we've had over the course of the day today. We have lined up a lot of what played earlier in the day that I was involved in. Me and Matt and I were all involved in a lot of these interviews. I want you to hear some important ones and some good ones today, and they're going to come through the course of the show. People that weren't able to listen to radio all day today, we're going to do sort of a little summary of those, and I'll tell you what's coming up in just a bit. So we've got a good bit. But let me just start with first impressions. We were all here all day long. Look, it's a new college football world. Matt, I'll start with you. It's a new world we're in. It's a 12-team playoff world. It's an expanded conference world. It's people trying to get out of leagues. And you, by the way, have been ahead of the curve, and you've done a fantastic job, Matt, on being ahead of the whole FSU, Clemson, where they're going to go thing. We'll get to that later on. But let's start with the SEC. What jumped off the page for you today in day one? Well, day two of the meetings, day one for us.
I just feel like there's a buzz here, and I truly believe the buzz is about the playoff. Okay. I truly believe that the players and the coaches realize that starting in like late October, we're talking about significant games will be played. Yeah. Week after week after week.
Elimination games almost. Yeah.
You go from maybe 7 or 8 teams that have a chance when November begins to 40 that have a chance. So I don't know how that couldn't be good for the sport. I don't know how that's not going to make the sport grow exponentially over the next couple of years to where when 26 rolls around, it's not going to be 12 again. It'll be 14 or even more.
The funny part about those comments, Frank, are that Lauren asked me the same exact question, and I said, quite frankly, I think Florida State is the elephant in the room that's wandering here despite not being here. And, of course, as you noted, Matt's reporting from this morning that Florida State's odds of getting into the Big Ten, getting into the Big C, slimmer and slimmer by the second. I feel like that's kind of been the underswell, but certainly, yes, it feels like between the playoff and also discussing the new EA Madden game, those have been the big talking points so far on day two.
For me, and a compilation of everything you guys said, but for me, there's 2 or 3 things to me. Number one, and I said this to you, and I said this to Kirby Smart. We'll hear that in a minute. And you said Kirby would laugh when I said it, and he did laugh when I said it. Right. But we came here in the 90s, and everybody waited till Steve Spurrier got here, and then all the heads would turn. What's he going to say? That's Spurrier. That's Spurrier. Then a decade later or more, Nick Saban. I think Kirby's that guy. Now, Kirby's understated, so he's not going to be a funny guy, and he's not going to be a memorable quote guy.
I don't know. He was today, Frank. I was just posting that full-length video, which you can listen to on 1010XL's main channel. And let me tell you, there's a lot of quotes there.
He had really good stuff.
He was pretty good. Yeah.
He's very good. But I think that George is the king. I think that stood out to me today. But I also think, Mia, the changing world. Matt said it. It's going to be September 28th. We're still in September, and we're going to be saying, okay, Texas has already lost, but they're still a shoe-in for the 12 team, but they can't lose this week against South Carolina. Or what? I mean, we haven't had that conversation in September before.
No.
The NFL has it. In college football, though, that conversation's late November for the games to matter like that.
I don't think we've had a situation where a team catches fire in mid-October through November.
Yeah.
And they find themselves in the playoff, because if you stumble and you lose 2 or 3 times in the first 6 weeks of the season, you're done.
Yeah.
And now there's a world where if you were to win out, even if you have those 2 losses, if it's within the strength of an SEC or a Big Ten schedule or a strong non-conference schedule, then who cares?
Yeah.
If you're able to perform well in one of those 2 leagues, into the Big 12, I think to an extent as well, you'll be able to salvage a season not just by making a great bowl game, but by actually advancing to the college football playoff and having even more to play for.
Other storylines, if you're wondering why this is in Dallas, well, Dallas is where Texas and Oklahoma play each other. And this is a welcome to Texas and Oklahoma. Not just Texas. This is a welcome to Texas and Oklahoma. This is where the Red River Shootout is. This is where they play. Here's my thoughts. It's a fantastic setup. It's more spacious. Everything's close together. It's as good a setup as Birmingham, Nashville, Atlanta, anywhere they've had it. But it doesn't feel SEC to me. Am I just too old and set in my ways? And it doesn't feel. It's a wonderful setup, but I'm going to Dreamland. I need Dreamland. That's what I want to. Do you know what Dreamland is?
Well, you get to Bob's Steakhouse.
Yeah.
That'll take care of you.
Bob's Steakhouse will be very good. I've been there before.
You'll be fine there.
But I don't. It's going back to Atlanta next year. And I'll bet it never leaves the Deep South again. Agree or disagree?
Probably not.
Never
probably
again.
Not. I don't mind it being here. I'm fine with that. And by the way, if you've never watched the Texas-Oklahoma game, if you're an SEC fan, if you've never been to it, it is a 100% trip you have to take.
Yeah, I've never seen one.
Oh my gosh!
I've done plenty of Texas games. I've done plenty of Oklahoma games, but I've never done a game where they played each other.
Everything you think of Florida Georgia, and I love the Florida Georgia game.
Yeah.
I love it for everything it is: the history, the pageantry, the teams, the colors. I mean, the colors. My God. When you get the beauty shots and it's just so much orange and blue and red and black.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in that stadium.
That's what everybody says.
105,000 people, and the stadium is in the middle of the State Fair in Dallas. It's always the same week. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
The people, the event, just terrific. Just a once-in-a-lifetime trip. You got to do it.
Another storyline, Mia, for me, and you and I got to catch up with them. I want to play that in about an hour, so you're going to hear it in an hour. Carson Beck's all the rage. Boy, was he poised. Boy, was he good today. He came off to me today like a guy that's been in the NFL 10 years, poised, nothing rattled him. He didn't say the wrong stuff. He never got caught. I mean, he made all the rounds now. He might win the Heisman Trophy. The guy when a guy shows up who might be the first overall pick, might win the Heisman Trophy, might win a national title, everybody wants to talk to him. I thought he was just fantastic.
And he also still sounds like the same Carson, albeit, 5-6 years more mature, but the same Carson we knew at Mandarin High School. And that's what I said on Helmets and Heels. That's what blew me away, is I knew it would be a strange sensation for us, having interviewed him so many times before, but in a different setting. And now being in a setting where we've known him, we've known his ability, but there is an entire conference and an entire college football world here where he is the talk of the town. He was the focal point for so many people here today, and he just so happens to be a kid from Jacksonville.
Let me tell you who else really impressed me today. And again, a lot of these, listen, I've known Kirby really well, so Kirby and I are pretty good. I'm getting to know Billy Napier pretty well. So the Florida and the Georgias and coaches over the years I've known. But a lot of the interviews we get is because Matt's close to these guys. Matt, you have, because of your many college football jobs for 30, 40 years, you're close to these guys. I can tell. I see when in fact, I hate that we miss Brian Kelly, who I know you're very close to. But I know you're close to Josh Heupel.
In fact, he looked at me yesterday and said, "We going on?" And I said, "Not here.
We'll start tomorrow."
Right.
But I will tell you, I can tell your relationship with Josh Heupel. What a neat guy he is.
Yeah. Good dude.
Good dude.
And
a good coach.
I mean, I've known Josh since
he was a player.
And by the way, I was at that game when they beat FSU for the national championship.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed with where Josh Heupel I think will take Tennessee.
Yeah, 19 wins in the first 2 years, and that he walked into a mess.
Yeah, he did.
Mess.
Yeah, he did. And not only a mess.
The last 2 years, not first two.
But not just a mess, Mia, but a team that had lost its self-esteem, a program that had no self-esteem.
Well, no self-esteem and no identity.
Yeah, correct.
Kind of where Florida is right now.
Very similar. Very similar. You're exactly right.
But also in financial ruin as well, with all of the various recruiting violations and all of the red tape and yellow tape, if you will, that he had to enter and cope with as a head coach as he tried to guide that program through its first few years.
Yeah. So you're exactly. So let me set the scene for you today. Now again, Matt knows Eli Drinkwitz very well. He is late in the day, so he may stop by today.
Yep.
So we'll certainly bring in Eli if he gets a chance to come by here. Brent Venables, I don't know that we'll get him. He kind of is finishing up his rotation now. But what I will tell you is you're going to hear from Josh Heupel. Matt and I had him. That comes up as soon as we come back from our first break here. My friend Matt Moscona, who I think is one of the best radio guys in the country, certainly in the Southeast, covers LSU, does such a fantastic job. Matt and I visit. You'll hear from Matt at 4:40 in the program. And then Kirby Smart at the top of the hour. 5 o'clock hour is the Georgia hour. You're going to hear from Kirby Smart. Matt and I were able to catch up with him. After that, Carson Beck, Mia, you and I were able to talk to Carson. That comes up in the 5 o'clock hour. And then I'm not leaving day one without my friend Chris Dorian, for God's sake. Okay, you kidding me? There's some prerequisites.
You need to stay and listen to Chris Dorian. Coming up 5 o'clock hour, we'll have Chris. 5 o'clock hour, we're going to have Chris. And you're also going to want to, even if you don't have a TikTok, I'm going to need you later on this afternoon. These are very important instructions. You're going to need to go to TikTok. I know it's a scary, scary site that you've never heard of. Trust me, go there because we will reshare it.
She's talking to old people like me. I appreciate it. I respect that.
We will reshare it on Facebook, and we will reshare it on X and on Instagram too. But Chris Doering he never ceases to entertain to the point that Laura Rutledge, who joined Helmets and Heels in XL Primetime as well today, she was like looking at me like I cannot believe he just said that on camera.
And by the way, to verify what Mia just said, Laura came up to us after she was on with Helmets and Heels, or was on Primetime.
I think it was during the handoff between the two.
After she was on with you, after you guys on, she came over to me and she said, "Did you hear what Dorian just said to me?" I said, "I did not, but now that you've asked me, I can't wait to hear it."
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you.
We're not going to tell you. You're going to need to go to 1010XL social channels later.
Laura Rutledge came up to me and said, "Did you hear what Doring just said to me?" And I said, "No." You want to tell? She said, "No, I'm not going to tell you." She said, "You just go watch it." So anyway, our friend Chris Doring. So we got a lot to do. Thank you guys. It's been we've all been grinding a heck of a lot here, and we're excited about it. We'll be here all week long now. I say all week long till it ends on Thursday afternoon. A lot of coverage for you coming up, and we're excited about that. We always love being at the SEC Media Days here this year in Dallas. When we come back, Josh Heupel's one of the outstanding young coaches in America, outstanding young offenses. Matt Hays is going to ask him why other people don't do what he does offensively, and I got a chuckle out of the answer when he answered that. But Josh Heupel's a sharp coach now, the Tennessee football coach. He's the first guest up after this. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Florida State. Subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel, up-to-the-minute updates, analysis, and more. Plant the spear and subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles channel today.
It's the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Buy a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla for just $1,000 down and $288 per month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $1,000 down and $388 per month. Arlington Pre-Owned has over 400 used cars in stock and more than 100 vehicles under $18K. And you even get 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. Shop the Big One sales event, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
This is Chelsea with Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Here's what people are saying about working with us.
Installers were professional, courteous, and efficient.
Great customer service. On time, explained the process, and walked me through the installation. Amazing team.
Our experience with Renewal by Anderson was outstanding from the beginning to end.
Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and Twitter to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman.
We take you from the water to the woods on the Nimnet Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us. But for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401k 401ks. What I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Every team has an enforcer.
Whether you like it or not, I'm a hard hitter and I'm a straight shooter.
Tommy Mack is ours.
I say it like I see it.
Fridays on Jaguars Today, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler.
Aaron Burr.
Dueler.
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. It's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air and Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a beer, Irv.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
RJ Saunders here, sports lovers. I recently took a tip from Frank Frangie when I needed to send flowers to my mother. Frank told me that Kuhn Flowers is the only florist he ever uses. So that's what I do now. I use Kuhn Flowers. Find them online at kuhnflowers.com.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I-9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing sports. Fall and winter registration is underway. Log on to i9sports.com and see all they've got to offer. Kids 3 and up. You can enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for fall and winter. Great locations added like Fort Family Field, Westside Middle, and Duval Charter Bay Meadows. It's all online at i9sports.com.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. At my house, we had a feast from Mayport CNC Fisheries with the freshest shrimp around, and it was unbelievable. They also have oysters, scallops, mahi, and so much more. Want to eat like a local? Head to the beach and visit my friends at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We're live at Dallas at the SEC Media Days. We love coming to these. Mia O'Brien, Matt Hays, and I have made the trip for 1010XL, and we are happy to be here and happy to catch up with some of the principals. I really believe Josh Heupel is one of the outstanding young coaches in America. Good guy. You saw him have a big time in Omaha when Tennessee won the baseball championship, and I think that program's headed in the right direction. Earlier today, Matt and I caught up with the Tennessee head coach.
Josh, thanks so much for joining us. How you doing, man?
Always great to be on with you guys.
What's this like, man? What's the event like here?
It's obviously watching it on TV. You come here, the energy, the excitement that surrounds every room that you walk into, and anticipation. College football is right around the corner.
As a former player, obviously, these are the things that get you juiced, right? I mean, even as a coach, player, anything.
As a coach, you know it's on. It's here. SEC Media Day basically means the end of vacation, and it's time to go to work.
I want to ask you all about your football team, but first I want to ask you about you, Peyton, Rick Barnes, your family, You had a big time in Omaha,
and
didn't
it
you?
was awesome.
Was that great?
I mean, for me, like growing up, watching it in old Rosenblatt Stadium.
Yeah.
Fan of college athletics in general, but it was a bucket list item. I told my kids, listen, we're going whenever they're playing for it. And to be able to be there, be in that room with all of those guys, just awesome experience. Be on the field after the ball game, see the players, just what Tony's built there. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun to be a part of, and it's a great time to be on Rocky Top. Just we got dynamic leadership. They're constantly pushing to give us everything we need to be successful, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were saying it at this podium, and I was listening. Tennessee's kind of good at everything now. I mean, Danny White has done that. I mean, good at everything now.
You look at the success, every team sport in postseason play. I saw a stat. I'm going to assume it was accurate.
Yeah.
But the win percentage of all the major sports, men's and women's side combined, it's not even close, our win percentage versus the next closest.
Wow.
It's just, it's an awesome time to be there. It's a great city. It's a unique atmosphere, energy, Smoky Mountains off in the distance, cool college city, but the leadership is elite.
So, Josh, everybody knows what you walked into at Knoxville. It was a difficult situation. 19 wins in the first 2 seasons. You guys are playing meaningful games in November. But with that, with what you've built, now comes expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. Which the expectations are never going to be higher outside of the building than they are inside. That's why we're working and competing every single day to go be our best. Third in the league in win total over the last 2 years. There's more meat that we got to go take off of the bone. It's been fun through all the things that we had to navigate. Being close to being completely on the other side of that. Roster deeper, just pure numbers, athleticism, all of it. Just continues to give us a chance to continue to get better. And that's why I know our future, as good as it's been, our future is brighter.
Josh Heupel with us, Tennessee coach. I'm going to have to get in line to ask you this because everyone's going to ask you or already has. But Oklahoma's in the league.
Yeah.
That's got to be neat for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, we get to go there.
You get to play there. That's right. Yeah.
It'll be unique to be on the other sideline, different perspective, viewpoint of from the stadium. But, 2 great brands that, again, just adding them into this league. This is the best league in college football. Has been. You can look at draft picks. You can look at what it's like to be on the road on Saturday afternoons or evenings. Coaching staffs. This college football as good as it gets. That only adds to the depth of this league. It's a lot of fun.
Josh, I was honored to cover that championship game. Coach Spurrier's son was on the staff, and I was on the field afterwards. The joy you guys felt. You were underdogs in the game. Take us back just for a moment. That moment for that national championship moment for you.
Yeah, just a unique culmination of individuals that collectively were good enough to go accomplish something that nobody outside of our locker room thought that we could. And I'm talking about from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Yeah. And it's a special time. When we were there. I hadn't been to a bowl game for 5 straight years before. I believe it was 5 straight years before we went and 2 years later win a national championship.
So you talk about you guys are close right now, right? And you know this as well as anybody. At the end of the season, the national championship happens, the team wins, the confetti falls, and the team gets on the stage. Your team the same way. Man, you look on that stage, and there are grown men on that stage. How close are you guys to being at that point right now?
Yeah, you walk through our facility, weight room, you walk by practice, you can see but also feel the difference as you walk by the bodies from where we started to where we are now. And that's just in their makeup and the amount of guys that have that makeup. I'm really excited about where we're going, line of scrimmage, continuing to recruit and add elite players. And, for us, taking the next step as a program is finding a way to win each Saturday,
Josh, tell us about Nico. You've had Hendon Hooker. You've had Joe. Is he like either one of them? Is he different than them? What are we going to see?
Each quarterback has their own identity. It's like an artist. You got to let the artist be an artist and paint the picture the way that he's going to paint it. Now you give him parameters within the confines of what you do offensively and defense structures. You refine their skill sets, but they each are their own artist. And I'm really looking forward to playing and competing with Nico. He's got the ability to push the ball vertically down the football field. He's accurate. He can throw it with different arm angles. Got dynamic feet and the ability to extend and make plays. And that could be running the football. Hopefully more times than not, it's him escaping the pocket and making a play down the field with his arm.
So let me ask you something. An honest question. Why don't more teams do what you do? Why don't more teams put the receivers at the numbers and go and spread everybody out like you and Baylor, the old Baylor days did?
Yeah.
Why don't people do that now?
There's a lot within the confines of what we do. The structure, the nuances, what we put on our quarterbacks. There's a lot more to it, and end of the day, we got to continue to find a way to score +1. You know what I mean? Be on the right side of the scoreboard every Saturday this fall. But at the end of the day, we want to apply pressure, and I think doing it in a unique way causes issues for defenses.
Are there more and more teams coming to you now in the offseason and trying to pick your brain a little bit?
Yeah, we're not. Nobody's in our.
You don't. you don't even let them in. No?
Those days in college football are done.
Yeah, really. Why?
My opinion. The size of staffs,
right,
the mobility of staffs, and the ever-changing landscape of leagues. Yeah. It's hard, and I'm not sure there's time to do it either.
I get that.
I don't know when you go.
Josh, you've done a great job there. Congratulations on the success to this point. I agree with you. I think it's only going to get better. Thanks for spending some time.
I appreciate it. Always great being home with you guys.
Thank you, Josh Heupel, the Tennessee football coach. I'll tell you what. Sharp guy, man.
Good people.
He's a good dude, and he's a really good football coach, no question about it. Hey, we're just getting going here. We are live here. Before I go to break and before I bring in Matt Moscona, can Tennessee be a dominant program? Can they be Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Florida once upon a time?
I don't know.
Can they be that?
They can be a playoff team.
Yeah.
And that's, at this point
and
in
that's
college
the first
football,
step.
that's the first step, yeah.
Interesting.
It's the first main step.
Yeah, it really is. We'll see what happens. We'll take a break. When we come back, Matt Moscona is going to join me. ESPN Baton Rouge, knows LSU football, but really knows the SEC. Terrific radio guy. If you haven't heard Matt on the air, you're going to enjoy this. He's been on with Helmets and Heels. He's been on my show many times over the years. He knows him from college football. Matt Moscona from ESPN Baton Rouge after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
And initiate sequence.
1010XL.
1010XL.
1010XL. Repeat. 1010XL.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Maybe you've got plumbing problems, like toilets that won't flush, or there's not enough pressure, or you get clogs and stoppage too often.
Ew!
There's several potential causes, and some can't be detected easily. So before it becomes a disaster, call Roland Reich Plumbing. They can send a special video camera down through the lines, since they don't have a small little man, to find the root of the problem, which could be tree roots. Don't guess. Hire Roland Reich Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
This is Dr. George Barry, inviting you to look online at barryorthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics, and online at bariorthopedics.com.
Find out more at bariorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
It's Hacker here, checking in from the sunny Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, that's right. I'm down here living the dream with a margarita in one hand and some seafood in the other. And let me tell you, I'm not stressing one bit about gaining any of my 80 pounds back this week. You know the reason? No, it's Awaken 180 weight loss. My metabolism is on fire. I'm burning off calories as fast as I can put them down. I know the 80 pounds is one measurement, but how about this one? I'm now wearing a size 38 pants. That's down from a 46. 8 inches off my waist. Think about that. 8 inches gone in just 4 months. That's absolutely incredible. That's Awaken 180. My confidence is through the roof. I'm even strutting around the beach down here with the shirt off, feeling like a brand new man. It's all about the Awaken 180 magic. If you're ready to make a change, take it from all of us. Awaken 180 is the real deal. Book your summer consult today at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
The back nine is as tough as any finish in the world.
It's been exciting to watch. I'll tell you what, we have seen it all today.
1010XL's coverage of the Open Championship in Scotland is brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group. Follow the leaders on 1010XL.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
You could win your share of over $450,000 in cash and prizes at the 5-Star Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. The fun starts July 13th with the inaugural Kickoff Beach Tournament with a $50,000 cash first prize. There's a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the general offshore tournament winner takes home a 28T contender with twin 200 Yamahas. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. The college football season has officially started. Live from SEC Media Days. Presented by Kanaya Water Jacksonville and Window World of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
Welcome back to SEC Media Days in Dallas. My buddy Matt Moscona from ESPN Baton Rouge joins us. Do we like Dallas? Do we? What do you think?
So
I think from a fan's or the listener's perspective, they don't really care. We could be on the moon in Egypt. They don't really care. It's just a matter of getting them the content. So for me, I like going to a new place, and I do like what I want is accessibility and feasibility. Like the first year we were in Atlanta, and they put us like in remember there was like a different building and a room upstairs.
Yeah.
And it was
You're
terrible.
tucked away. It wasn't any good.
It was terrible. This has been great. I think the space is great. The workspace is fantastic. I think the proximity to the main room it makes it for an easier flow, so we can all do our jobs much easier for our fans, for our listeners who are the ones who are why we're here.
The setup's great.
Yeah,
the setup's great. I'm old, man. I like Birmingham and Atlanta because that's what old people like. Old people like the way it was, you know. So, but the setup's great. Brian Kelly's third year. Tell me about Brian. He what a journey. He got to the league and did the dance and the accent, and it didn't seem to fit. But then pretty quickly remembered he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
We had forgotten that part, hadn't we? Year 3, he seems very confident.
Well, he's done really well where he's been year 3. So that's been a pretty familiar storyline around Baton Rouge. Year 3 at Notre Dame was when they went undefeated and played Alabama in that championship game.
Right.
Year 3 at Cincinnati, they went to an Orange Bowl. Year 3 at Central Michigan, they won 9 games after he inherited a really bad situation and built. So I think what Brian Kelly's pretty consistently said is by the time he gets to his third year, you've had the recruiting and all that stuff, but you've also established culture to where he raises all the expectation level within the program on every detail. The big question, though, for Brian and this team is, all right, you were atrocious defensively a year ago. You changed your defensive staff. Still don't think you have the right personnel to expect to be great, but how much better can it be? And look, man, they allowed 48 points per game in their 3 losses last year.
Yeah.
If you can just be not the worst defense in the history of the program,
right?
You know, even if the offense steps back a little, but if the defense improves dramatically, even to a top 60 defense in the country, how much do you flip one of those losses to a win? I mean, that puts you 10-2, and then you're talking about a playoff team potentially. I think that's maybe the optimistic hope around LSU.
Man, I said last year that what really helped Georgia is even though they were replacing a 2-time national championship winning quarterback, if you've got to have transition there, they were well prepared with Carson Beck. I kind of think the same thing about LSU.
Yep.
You lost a record-setting Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, but they seemed well prepared for the transition in Garrett Nussmeier. Is that a good read, do you think?
I think so. But Garrett's a guy, he's an outlier, right? Guys don't sit and wait.
Nobody waits.
They don't sit 3 years and wait for their chance to play. But Garrett has. And talked to him yesterday. He said, yeah, man, I mean, of course I thought about leaving, but he said his faith and these different reasons kept him in Baton Rouge. It's where he wanted to be, and he wants to be the LSU quarterback. So he stayed. I commend him for not giving into the temptation to jump. But I think Garrett, if you go to Central Casting, he checks all the boxes. He's got the size. He can make all the throws. He's got great confidence. He's the son of a coach, high football IQ, all that stuff. It's just the experience barrier.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it look like when he's your guy for 12, 13, 14, 15 games? And we won't know until he goes and does it, but you're about as well positioned as you could hope, unless if you brought in someone who had started 30 games in their career, which, you can do in the portal now.
ESPN Baton Rouge's Matt Moscona is with us. Do you like where college football's gone? Do you like Texas and Oklahoma being in the league and the Big Ten and the SEC and everybody else? Do you like it?
I do. I think this is a really hot button conversation from February to August. But once we tee it up and kick it off, all we really want to see is good football. And for me, Frank, the further removed we get from a schedule loaded with FCS teams and G5 teams that are games that nobody wants to see, Frank. You and I don't want to watch LSU play Nichols. You don't want to watch Florida play FAMU. Nobody wants to see it. It's a gate receipt. And college football lost its way because the adults in the room realized they had every avenue to monetize, and everybody got super rich. Except the players. And the players finally folded their arms and said, And so now we are where we are. But the closer we get to having a schedule made up of just Power 4 against Power 4 games every week that everybody wants to see, a true playoff, not a bunch of people in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas determining which 4 teams they feel based on game control should play for a championship. No, like every sport in the world has a true playoff except the sport that we love. Like, they're not all wrong.
Right.
We're the ones who have been doing it wrong for 100 years because a bunch of old dudes in ugly blazers have been driven by the almighty dollar. Yes, you can tell you hit a hot button here, Frank. I am very, very excited about where college football is going. Every argument against is intangible. Oh, it's the history. Oh, it's the pageantry. Oh, it's the most meaningful regular season. No, it's not. Tell that to Florida State, a team that won every game it played and didn't even get a chance to play for a championship. That is a farce. That is not a true playoff. That is not a true system.
I love it. Preach it. And I will tell you, as much as we love college football, I'm always amazed at how late college football gets to the party. And no matter what the party is, it's how late they get to the party. How do you see the league? Are Georgia and Texas really going to play 3 times like everybody suggests? What do you think?
Only if they meet in the college football playoff, but they'll play in the regular season. I do think they play in Atlanta for the SEC championship, so they'll play twice. Yeah. It's just how will it fall to where could they play again? I think Ohio State may have a lot to say about that. I think they're going to be really good. I don't think that's breaking news or anything like that. But I do think those 2 teams are playoff teams. The most interesting thing for me, Frank, I'm curious, I don't know if you've talked about this, but the general feeling is, if you're 10-2 from the SEC, you're going to get in.
Right.
But, how many teams really will the committee put in? Yeah. You've got 5 auto bids. One of them is going to be the SEC. Right. We all assume that the SEC will get at least one more at large. And my contention has kind of been, I think most years the SEC will get 3.
I do too.
3 of the 12.
I think there will be 4 more often than there's 2. I think 4 more often than 2.
Yes.
And I think 3 will be a minimum every year.
But I've heard some this week asking people that question. There's some that feel like 4 is going to be the minimum, and then do they get to 5? I'm like, God, it's so hard to think that a committee is gonna reward the SEC with 5 berths.
You know, it's funny. We had this talk in baseball season, and the talk was, I'm not sure Florida belongs in. They're barely 500. The league's not going to. The NCAA is not going to put 11 of them in. Well, the NCAA put 11 of them in, and Florida almost won the damn thing.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of a similar conversation. I don't know that 4 out of the gate is going to be a minimum, but I think you could grow to that. Okay. I think you could, but it's a great question, and but I think 3 every year. You think 3 every year?
I think 3 is your minimum. I think in the outlier year, maybe once every 5 years, you get a 4th. Yeah. 5 just feels like, how do you even math that? Like, are you going to tell me there's going to be a 10-2 SEC team that gets in over an 11-1 ACC team? Yeah. It's just hard to believe we're going to see that. Maybe. But, I mean, look at what happened with Georgia last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia was absolutely one of the 4 best teams in the country.
Of course, and they would have won it, by the way.
Yeah.
And they would have won
it. Of course. But you look at what transpires, and they lost the SEC championship game, and it was a reason to keep them out. And you weren't going to put another SEC team in there. So I just think the committee is going to be faced with those decisions.
Who's good this year that maybe we don't think is good? Or let me rephrase that. Who might be better than they normally are? Is Ole Miss the team? Is Tennessee the team? Give me a surprise in the league.
So I think Georgia, Texas, everyone agrees, right? If they're not in a 12-teamer.
Right.
And it's weird how we have to change the conversation, because if we're talking about a 4-team playoff, I think this is all different. But in a 12-teamer, if Georgia, Texas aren't there, that's a huge upset. I think there's this group of 5 teams after that. I think it's Ole Miss, LSU, Bama, Tennessee, Missouri. When you look at what they have returning, their schedules, there's a realistic chance that any of those 5 could get to 10-2. And I think what happens is you look at tiebreakers like LSU plays Ole Miss and Bama, and however some head-to-head tiebreakers like that may work, ultimately will be what gets that 3rd SEC team in. I think one of those 5 is for sure getting in. Maybe 2 of those 5.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun year.
And I would take Ole Miss, by the way.
Yeah, Ole Miss pretty good, aren't they? They're like legitimately good.
Fewest questions, most manageable schedule.
Yeah, and he did. That's right, and did a great job in the portal. He's figured that part out. So hey, before I let you go, I don't know if you've heard or not, but the Jags pretty much drafted the whole team. I don't know if you like everybody that lives in LSU. I think people that live on the outskirts have moved to Jacksonville. So we've drafted pretty much the whole team. I want to ask you about it. You and I we talked off air during the draft. all of them. Brian Thomas Jr., let's start with him.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited about what I think he might be. I'm over the moon for him.
He's awesome. God, he's so good. So Brian is from he went to Walker, which is just east of Baton Rouge, 15 minutes east of Baton Rouge. And he was one of those guys that was a 5-star receiver, but he didn't do the whole hat recruitment game. He just very quietly committed to LSU. And early in his career, the thing I'll say about Brian is like, he was a lion that didn't know he was a lion.
Yeah.
But once he figured out he was just better than everybody, you saw what happened this past year. And you're never going to have to worry about character issues, great team guy, the physical ability, everybody knows why he was a first-round pick. But Trevor Lawrence is going to love throwing the ball to him. He is, God, he's special. Y'all are going to love him.
Yeah, I think he does already. They spend a lot of time together. Mason Smith, long, athletic. Tell me about Mason.
So Mason is the highest rated defensive tackle ever to come out of the Bayou region in Louisiana.
Wow.
He was 5-star, number 1 defensive tackle in the country. His career didn't pan out like a lot thought it would, given the physical ability. Now, y'all know this, he tore his ACL the first defensive series of his sophomore year. I think last year the production wasn't there for Mason for a few reasons. Coming off the ACL, having not played football for a year, getting back into shape. He also had an injury he suffered in fall camp to his ankle that nobody really talked about. So I think hesitant, limited. He also had 5 defensive line coaches in his 3 years at LSU. No consistent voice thing. All that worked against him. But the undeniable truth about Mason Smith, and this is why Jacksonville took him in round 2, is if you coach him right and you maximize the physical ability, you have a perennial Pro Bowl interior defensive player, because God just didn't make many people like Mason Smith that have the physical size and ability and all that stuff. So the real challenge for that Jacksonville defensive staff is going to be maximize that guy. Because if you do, you have a guy that'll play 15 years in the NFL. There's a guy named Al Woods, who, I don't know if you remember that name, played at LSU. Similar, small town guy in Louisiana, was just a big teddy bear. Once he finally Saints drafted him in round 4. He got cut the year he was drafted as a 4th-round pick. But by the time he figured it out, he spent 15 years in the league, and Mason Smith could be that guy.
Final question, Jordan Jefferson, more of a kind of a nose, more of a shade kind of guy, bigger physical guy. What's he like?
He was LSU's best defensive lineman last year on a bad defense. Yeah. But he is very strong. He'll give you interior push. I think he's a really good rotational piece.
All right, so it's going to be fun to watch those guys. You going to watch Paul Skeens tonight? Are you going over there? Are you going to watch on TV? What are you doing?
I'm going to watch on TV. I'm fascinated to see it, man. We were talking before we came on. And, you were telling me that you went and saw him in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Imagine seeing him throw against college hitters.
I know. It's not fair now. I can't only imagine. I can't imagine when the Tulane leadoff batter comes in there. It wasn't. But it's amazing, man. It's look. And you know this. I'm a diehard baseball guy. I haven't seen much like ever. Now, I know it's early. It's early to start saying ever. I know that. But I'm going to say it. I haven't seen much like this. The buzz around him, all of it.
Yeah, you see guys that throw 100, but you typically don't see guys that sit 100, 101, 100 pitches into their outing. And that's it's an effortless thing, which is why I think it's also the durability will be there with Paul.
Lauren Brooks now hosts the midday show, not our show anymore. Did we ever do the push-ups, or did we? Whatever happened
I was
there?
on Helmet and Heels with them, and Brooks and I talked about it.
Yeah.
I think Did
she duck you? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, she still maintains that I owe her. So the bet was about Jameis.
Right.
She said he wouldn't make it as the starter for half the season.
Yeah.
Of course, he didn't because he tore his ACL in Week 7, but the Saints were 5-2.
Right.
So, I mean, he was doing
So there's some controversy.
We didn't put an injury provision, so I guess on a technicality I lost, but she understands the basis of what her premise was, and she was wrong. So what we agreed to is that we would both do 50 push-ups here, so where is she?
Yeah, you know what? That's a very good point. I'll get on her.
Is she here?
She is not here, but you're right. That's a very good call.
Brooks?
I think it's ducking.
You're ducking me, Brooks.
It's ducking. Matt Moscona from ESPN Baton Rouge. You're the best. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Frank.
Back in a moment from Dallas. Stay with us. Yeah, it's good to catch up with my buddy Matt. He's a really good radio guy. And I will tell you, and LSU Day was yesterday, Matt, but I think there's a palpable buzz about them for a lot of reasons. Brian Kelly's 3rd year. He tends to be very good. He's obviously a very good coach. I said this to Matt. When Brian Kelly got there, everybody made fun of the accent and the dance, and he's a bad fit. They lost sight of the fact that he's a really good coach.
Yes.
But that's what happened. I mean, everyone kind of we were all guilty of it. Not you because you know him, but
he's a top 5 coach.
He's a really good coach.
Yeah.
He's a really good coach, and I think they benefit. If you've got to have a transition at quarterback, which in college football you always do, you only get 4 years, and the good quarterbacks don't stay that long. you want to be well-positioned for the transition. That's why Georgia was so well-positioned with Carson Beck. He waited his turn, so when Stetson Bennett was gone, they were well-positioned. Well, Jaden Daniels had a historical year, Heisman Trophy and beyond, but Garrett Nussmeier waited his turn, so they're well-positioned for the transition. I think LSU is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and I think another thing that gets lost too, Frank, is Jaden Daniels was a raw product, a raw ball of clay when he was at Arizona State. You could see he had some ability, but he got to LSU and it changed dramatically. And I think immediately people always think, well, Mike Denbrock, the OC, there had a big play in it, and the quarterbacks coach had a big play in it. Look, Brian Kelly's been a quarterbacks coach and an offense guy his entire time as a head coach. That's what he does. He develops quarterbacks. The work he did with Jaden Daniels was remarkable, honestly, remarkable. And I can remember at near the end or midway point of his first season there, so that was 2022. I'm sure you'll remember this. When he came out and publicly said, look, Jaden's got to start taking chances with the ball. He's got to start throwing the ball into coverage and knowing that I've got an arm that can get it there and my guys are going to catch it. Because he wasn't doing that. He was just taking off and running. And all of a sudden, it just clicked for him. He got stronger in the second half of 2022, played really well down the stretch, came into 2023 and was lights out. He knows how to push buttons with guys. He knows how to motivate guys. He knows how to coach them. Jaden Daniels said that many times, that, it all kind of turned for him when Brian Kelly forced him. Look, trust yourself. Trust what you're doing. We know you have the arm talent. We know you know where the ball's going. We know you know passing game concepts. You know what's going on. Trust yourself. And it finally hit with him. And then last year, if you look at what he did last year, Frank, maybe 3 other quarterbacks in the last quarter century had seasons like that.
Yeah, it was historical. It was one of the most historical moments, and I agree with you. Brian Kelly deserves a lot of credit for that. LSU will be very good, but they won't be the best team in the SEC because Georgia is the best team in the SEC and possibly in the country. We'll take a break. But when we come back, Matt and I caught up with Kirby Smart to talk Georgia football. That's after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is the place Jags fans turn to every day for news, analysis, and inside stuff. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
It's time to fire up your grill, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our independent sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our independent sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are mosquitoes turning your outdoor fun into a full contact sport? It's time to call in Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, they are the MVPs of mosquito elimination. Call Kingfish Pest Control today and get an unbeatable 50% off your first treatment. That's right, sign up for a full season of lockdown coverage and get 50% off your first treatment. Don't let mosquitoes steal your home field advantage. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Are you feeling the heat? It's time to cool things down with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Contact us today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning to keep you cool and comfortable all year round.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
How long would it take to spend the night in every hotel room in Vegas?
The answer next.
With hurricane season now here, the only weather you need to be concerned about is whether your homeowner's insurance policy will cover you in the event of storm damage. Ask about Southern Oak Insurance today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
It would take more than 400 years to spend the night in every hotel room in Vegas.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Picking here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Hey, Jaguar friends. I'm Donovan Darius, former 10-year NFL strong safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm hosting my free Tackling Technique Jaguars camp for kids ages 10 to 14 on July the 27th. This Jaguar camp will have some of my former Jaguar teammates out there coaching the kids on all the fundamentals that it takes to be a great tackler. To get involved, just go to DariusNextLevelTraining.com to sign up your kids ages 10 to 14. If you'd like to sponsor, you can go to the same website, DariusNextLevelTraining.com.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin, just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Congratulations to Duval's very own LeBaron Johnson Jr. and Tanner Bowman on being selected in this year's MLB draft. Right-handed pitcher LeBaron Johnson Jr. graduated from Paxton in 2020 before heading to the University of Texas, where he was a second-team All-American and first-team All-Big 12 selection in 2023 and posted a 2.91 ERA with an 8-4 record. Johnson was selected by the Colorado Rockies with the 139th pick. Left-handed pitcher Tanner Bowman graduated from Atlantic Coast High School in 2020, then played his first 2 seasons at St. John's River State before transferring to Auburn, where he posted a 7-3 record in his tenure with the Tigers. He was selected 271st by the New York Yankees. It's 91 degrees at 4:59. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's where football season starts. SEC Media Days, presented by Southern Steer Butcher and Underwood Jewelers on 1010XL.
And we welcome you back to Dallas, the SEC Media Days. Also, thanks to our friends at the Nimnick family of dealerships. Always a Nimnick Tuesday, no matter where we are. We sure appreciate our friends at Nimnick. Billy Nimnick, Lee Nimnick, the wonderful family. Nimnick Chevrolet's on Cassett. Nimnick Buick GMC is located on Phillips Highway. Hour 2 of our program, the final hour of our 6 hours of coverage from here in Dallas. Let's start with the two-time national champions and didn't win it last year, but might win it this year. Georgia's got such a program. They're so well built. The modern-day Spurrier Urban Saban is a guy named Kirby Smart. He joined Matt Hays and me earlier today. How are you doing?
Great, man. I'm on my last stop.
So this is it.
Y'all are getting the caboose.
We're getting
all right.
The caboose is the best shot. I've told the story. I told you the story before, too. When we were at 4 teams and everyone was talking about going to 8, you told me, now I think we'll go to 12 if we do anything. Nobody else had said that. You got to be happy that we're at 12, right?
Well, I mean, I liked 4. I like 2. I like whatever it is. If I'm in it, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like if you're in it, then you're dancing. You got a shot, and more teams got a shot now. We'll see how that plays out. Will there be a bunch of blowouts? I don't know. What I think there's going to be is some great on-campus games.
Yeah.
There's going to be one round where it's played on the campuses of these places, and you're going to see somebody's going to have to go to South Florida, or somebody's going to have to go to Michigan, or somebody's going to have to go to West Coast. I mean, you're going to get anything and everything in that week, and I think that's going to be really cool, and then it's going to break out into the bowl games. And I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It's a new adventure, and let's see who can kind of survive the gauntlet and still survive that playoff run.
Now, you are clearly not a guy who looks backward, but, all the talk was Florida State getting, quote-unquote, screwed out of the playoff. Never in the history of the playoff had a number 1 loss on the last week of the season and not been in the playoff. How disappointing was that?
Well, first of all, we lost. So, like that, we had that responsibility in and of ourselves, and I always look internally first. I have no doubt we're one of the 4 best teams in the country, but it doesn't matter, and it didn't matter then. We had an opportunity, and they saw it as we had an opportunity to play our way in, and we didn't, and that's the way it goes. But I promise you this, nobody wants to come play this SEC schedule that we play either.
Right. Kirby, how much does people talk about all the time, not winning last year when most of us think if you'd have gotten in, you would have won? How much does that motivate you? Is that a real thing?
No, I don't think so. We don't harp on it. I think that last performance in the SEC championship might leave a bad taste in some guys' mouth. So there might be a little motivation there, but there's no like chip on your shoulder, get back at them, do it. I mean, we start every year assuming nothing, and we start from ground zero, and we build up from ground zero, and we build the team from this team where it is. Nothing built on the team before, so we'll do that this time and not really rely on last year's results.
So Carson was telling us he didn't handle it well in 2021 when he could have had the job in the week of UAB and he didn't nail it down. His maturation since then over those 3 years, how impressive has it been to watch him develop like that?
It's been awesome. He's a great kid. I mean, we knew he was talented when he first got there, and we knew this kid was going to be big time. He had poise in the pocket. He had a great arm. He had a great skill set. I mean, there was times the very first year that we were like, man, this guy might be the best one to play now. And that was way back. I mean, COVID season. And he's done nothing but got better, and he's never complained. He's never, he stood firmly by and knew that when he got in the driver's seat, he was going to take the bull by the horns and take it over, and he's done that.
In an era where everybody that doesn't play leaves, how hard is it for you, because you're such a good recruiter and Georgia's such an elite program, that you get all these really good guys, Brock Vandegrift and Gunner and Carson, and is it hard to manage that, Kirby?
No, honestly, man, You deal with people with the way you communicate with them. You treat them right. You treat them fair. You tell them before they come what it's going to be like, and you're honest with them. I mean, is it a pain in the ass at times? Yeah, but I think that pain in the ass is a good thing because they're growing. Brock Vandegrift is a better human being, person, and man because he came to Georgia and went through those trials and tribulations. And you know what? I'm a lot better off person because I got to meet Brock Vandegrift and the positive impact he had every day of my life. So I don't look at those, especially a quarterback position, because everybody can't play at quarterback. They're eventually going to have to leave if they're not the guy playing. But he fought it out. He did it, and he's better because of it.
So Carson told me something back in the other room, and he's something Nick used to say all the time, and I know you know this, that easy and great aren't friends. They don't walk together.
They don't.
So how do you explain that to young cats that are developing in your program?
Just that way. I mean, look at the trials these guys have been through. Look at Carson Beck's story. We put him in front of the room. Marion Smith's been through 5 significant injuries, and he's here ready to play another year. And we show him the x-rays of everything he's been through, and it's just like, man, this is not easy. This is not given. You know, you earn what you get around here.
When Steve Spurrier was a coach in the 90s, we came to these media days, and every head turned when he came around. Nick, for many, many years, every head turned when he came around. You're now that guy. You're that program. You are that guy. You're that program. There's the targets on your back, and you know it is.
They're turning their heads because how big I am. Maybe this jacket.
You got the target on your back. That's where you want to be. That's what you wanted to build. But talk about the challenges. What kind of a challenge is there for your football program?
Well, the challenges are what you create. I don't look at it as a target out to my back. I'll never be hunted. I told you that. I went through years of worrying about, like, oh, God, what if we do it? Hell no. We're throwing caution to the wind. We're coming after you before you come after us. So there's no target being put on our back because we're going to be the ones doing the hunting, and that's just the way we play our game. It's the way we attack the game. We want to attack the other team. And, hey, if they're better than us or more physical than us, more power to them. But we're going to go down swinging.
It's not about the difficult schedule, not about Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss on the road. They got to play you. That's the way you got to look at it, right?
That's exactly right. And we got to go to their place and do it, which is going to be a hell of an atmosphere.
Kirby, do you, in the portal era that we're in now, programs like yours that don't need it a lot, do you like the portal era? Do you like where we are with players changing teams as often as they do?
No, I don't like it. I understand it. I don't like the fact. I worry we're going to look back 20, 30 years and there's going to be no allegiance. Like a kid's going to say, well, I don't have a group of friends. I don't have a loyalty to a school because I went to 3 schools. I went to 2 schools. But you know what? It's their life. They got to make that decision. Well, I can only tell them the outlook that I have on staying at a place and the benefits from staying at a place that are going to last much longer than the gratification you get from chasing the grass is greener on the other side.
Hey, Kirby, thanks so much, man. We'll let you get going. We appreciate you taking time.
Kirby, thanks, buddy. Good luck. Our friend Kirby Smart, good guy.
You know what's funny?
I know you've known Kirby a long. I have too, and I've always liked him. I'll say this: this is a terrible cliche. It's an awful cliche, but I'll use it anyway because it's a true one. That dude's really never changed.
No,
I know that's a cliche.
Player, no, he hasn't.
No, and I know that's a cliche, but he's the same cat that he was before he was winning national titles, and frankly, before he was a head coach. Now, I didn't know him before he was a coordinator. I didn't know. I mean, Will Muschamp's told me stories about them hanging out together, but I didn't know Kirby until he had become a coordinator at Alabama. But he's a really good dude that hadn't changed since I've known him.
I think he believes what he says. You know, at the end of that interview where he said, you know, I don't like it, player. You know, the portal and players changing teams, and he doesn't think the players are going to have anything that they're connected to. You know, when they're later in life. And I understand what he's saying. But I also look at it from the player's point of view of, you know, you're dealing with a different young man right now than you were dealing with when he was playing, you know, and even 10 years ago. I'll give you a perfect example. So, you know, the EA Sports college football game is out now, and everybody's playing it, and it's all the talk here at Media Days, right? All the players are talking about it. Sam Hartman, the former Wake Forest and Notre Dame quarterback, tweeted out literally half hour ago, just hanging out, you know, shooting the breeze and blowing some time. And it's a picture of the game. He's playing the game.
Yeah.
He's playing Wake Forest. He finished his career at Notre Dame. He left Wake Forest and went to Notre Dame.
But he's a Wake Forest guy.
But he's a Wake Forest guy.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these guys that where they sign is a majority of them is going to be what they feel who they are, as long as they're guys that have stayed there for a few years.
Well, anyone you've known, we've all known people that went to law school, med school, grad school. That's not their school.
Right.
Their schools are undergrad.
They're undergrad,
If you know someone that went to undergrad at school X and grad school at school Y,
right,
they enjoyed their time at grad school Y, and they're glad they had their law degree. But school X is their school.
Right. I mean, they were grinding for 2 years to get the law degree. They don't care. It was just law.
Yeah.
Whereas the first 4 years, that's where everything where it happened.
And listen, I understand. I think there's truth to what Kirby says. Again, old guys, get off my lawn, guys. Why can't it be the way it used to be? But I will say this. I say the fact that free agency has come to college football, from a fan standpoint, forget the loyalty and allegiance and the following of recruiting and waiting for guys to have their redshirt year and stay. And that's the charm of college football in the 80s and 90s or whatever. And I get that. And so there was something special about that charm. I really believe that. But I'll also say I'm naive if I don't admit that there's a intrigue of wondering how this new how DJ Uiagalelei is going to do in Tallahassee, and wondering how the next quarterback that changes and Riley Leonard is going to do at Notre Dame. We didn't have that intrigue before. Notre Dame was playing the third-year sophomore who's finally getting his chance, and as much as I don't love it from a loyalty standpoint, as a sports fan, when baseball went to free agency and football went to free agency, it became a more interesting sport.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, it became more interesting. Well, I think college football, whether you like it or not, has become a more interesting sport.
Yeah, I mean, these things used to be rare. Russell Wilson left as a graduate
it was
player
starting then. But even
from
before,
NC State to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You know, there were guys that did that, and it was, oh, wow, that's cool. This will be fun. And now it's just that on steroids. And again, I keep saying this. I enjoyed college football prior. JJ's big on this too. JJ and I have this argument all the time. Is college football was great prior, but I really believe it's just as good or better now. And I believe it's the idea of these guys changing and making new things and new teams coming up, it's going to expand the people who enjoy the game. It's only going to get bigger, the game.
JJ, jump in here. Do you hate it more now or like it more now or what?
With the playoff?
Yeah, with the portal, with the changing.
The portal's terrible. It's ruined college football. There's no question about it. I mean, we can laugh about it, but it's true.
It's
the playoff
certainly changed college football.
To me, I don't mind the guys getting paid. I love that. I don't like the false equivalency that's like, hey, guys, if you don't like college football the way it is now, it's just because you don't care about these kids getting paid. It's like, dude, that has literally nothing to do with the portal. The portal is what's ruining college football. When it comes to the playoff, I think I'm going to love it when we get to it. I know I will. I'm going to watch every single game. I'm going to eat it up. But I do not like that college football's regular season, to me, used to be a playoff every single weekend. And now, you can have teams lose 3 and maybe even 4 games. Probably not 4, but 3 games and get in. And to me, that's not what college football was. I don't like that Georgia and Alabama is basically a meaningless game this year.
See, I feel the other way. I want the regular season to matter, but I don't want it to be tragic. College football has gotten to where one loss is tragic.
It's always been that, though.
Yeah, but I don't like that. As me personally,
okay.
I want the regular season to matter, but I don't want it to be. You can have this unbelievably good season, and then you trip up one time on November 3rd. And it's all gone to pot because you had the one bad game. I don't like it. But nonetheless, back to the transfers for a second, Matt, before we go to break here. We're going to go to break and then come back. And you've heard from Kirby. You're going to hear from Carson Beck, Jacksonville guy that we're all really proud of. What a player he's become. And that'll do it in a second. But before that, this transferring is not new, by the way. I wrote, Matt, I was a prep writer, mid-'80s, okay? You were probably like in junior high. Okay, I was a prep writer, and I did a story.
First years of college.
Okay, so I did a story about almost junior high, about the 3 best quarterbacks in the country, and because that's when we really covered recruiting. So Billy Ray was in Dunwoody, Georgia. Okay,
you were the recruiting originator, by the way.
I was. I invented recruiting. You're exactly right. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the accolade. But Billy Ray was in Dunwoody, Georgia. Okay, Jeff George was somewhere in Indiana.
Right.
And Dan McGuire, the older brother Mark McGuire, was in California.
Yeah.
They were the 3
6'13" Dan McGuire.
He's 6'8", right. But they were these great can't miss prospects.
Right.
They were the best combination of pro style quarterbacks to come through high school. All 3, unbelievable. Yeah. So I went up to Dunwoody, and I talked to the other 2 on the phone. I did this gigantic story in the Times Union about these incredible 3 recruits. Okay, and they were all okay. Well, guess what? Billy Ray went to Alabama.
Billy Ray.
Jeff George went to Purdue.
Right.
Dan McGuire went to USC. Before you knew it, Billy Ray transferred to Duke. Jeff George transferred to Illinois. and Dan McGuire transferred to San Diego State. Yep. And all three transferred and became good players. But all three left their first school. And that was in the mid-'80s, by the way.
Did
so
Billy
it's
Ray
not
ever
like
play quarterback?
Billy Ray he became a good quarterback at Duke.
At Duke, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the point is, none of these three they transferred then. So the transfer thing isn't new. Trace Armstrong transferred from Arizona State to Florida and became a really good player who went on to be a good NFL player, a defensive end, in 1988.
Yeah.
So the transferring isn't new.
No.
It's just
they just had to sit out prior.
Right, and now the volume of it is what's new. So it is. Second break. We're live in Dallas. Glad you were with us on our first day of coverage at the SEC Media Days. You heard from Kirby Smart. It's Georgia Day today. Well, how about the quarterback? Former Mandarin High quarterback Carson Beck has become such a terrific person, such a terrific college quarterback. Mia O'Brien and I caught up with Carson. You'll hear that interview right after this on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
You have heard about the 1010XL YouTube channel. Now check out our team-specific channels, 1010XL Jaguars, 1010XL Gators, and 1010XL Seminoles, bringing up specific, up-to-the-minute video coverage of your favorite local team. And find us on YouTube today.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's back! The Big One sales event is here, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington has over 400 new Toyotas available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and family vans. And that means now is the time to go big and go home in style. Plus, with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and 30-day exchange program. But don't wait. The Big One sales event won't last long, so shop today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
David Lane here again for Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. After several surgeries for age-old issues, mainly my back and shoulders, there's no doubt that Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is my sustaining resource for living pain-free. Take it from me, and I'm being really honest here, there's no better orthopedic facility here in Jacksonville.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Ready to drive away with a fortune? Join us at Best Bet St. Augustine for our Fairways to Fortune giveaway. Over $30,000 in prizes are up for grabs, including a top-of-the-line 6-seater golf cart. Join us July 27th at Best Bet St. Augustine for the big giveaway and hourly cash drawings. Come play and win big at Best Bet St. Augustine, located on State Road 207, seconds away from the I-95 exit. Visit bestbetjax.com for details. That's bestbetjax.com, and we'll see you in St. Augustine.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hays' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway at Pella Windows and Doors.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Kicking off another college football season. It's SEC Media Days. Presented by Window World of Northeast Florida and Kanaya Water Jacksonville on 1010XL.
We are grinding away, winding down day one now. We were here today. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here on Thursday for SEC Media Days coverage live for the first time ever in Dallas. It was in Birmingham forever, 30-plus years. They did Atlanta one year, went back to Birmingham, back to Atlanta, then to Nashville, now to Dallas, and then next year back in Atlanta. But now we're in Dallas as they welcome Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC for the first time. Those teams will be good. Texas might be a playoff team, probably will be. But I don't think anybody is better than Georgia, and I don't think any player is better than the Georgia quarterback, former Mandarin High quarterback Carson Beck. Earlier today, Mia O'Brien and I caught up with the Georgia quarterback.
Carson, how are you, man? Go ahead and put that headset on. We'll get that thing on you, and we'll get you going here. You're good to go. How are you, man? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Appreciate so much. This just been crazy for you? What's it been like?
Yeah, crazy for sure, but super fun. I don't know. I don't really mind media too much. I think it's fun.
Yeah, kind of what you expected. I asked first-timers here what's it like. Is it as crazy as they thought? About what you thought?
Yeah, it's about what I expected for sure. I mean, just answering questions all day. Just try to enjoy it.
Carson, we followed you. Obviously got to follow you all through high school being in Jacksonville. And I've said this many times. We're in a world where nobody wastes their turn anymore. Nobody does. The portal, you know this. You waited your turn, and it paid off last year, and it's really going to pay off this year in the draft and with the season. What was that like? How were you able to be so patient in a world where nobody else is?
I think I've always been super patient my whole entire life. I don't know why. It's just kind of how I was raised. It was kind of instilled into me. But with that being said, obviously it was very difficult. It was difficult to wait for those 3 years, and finally that fourth year I get my opportunity. But there was hope, and I always held on to that as I, went through those first 3 years. And then ultimately getting into that fourth year, all that preparation that I had put in, I had confidence because I knew what I was capable of going into that fourth year. So I think ultimately waiting for my turn built me into the quarterback that I am today.
Carson, Kirby brought up that UAB game back in 2021 where you would have had the opportunity to become the starter. when you look back at where you were mentally and physically there, where you are now, walk us through the emotions of what transpired after that game where a lot of people thought you'd seize the starting role then to where you are now about to enter your second year as that starter.
Yeah. I mean, that moment, I think really shaped who I am today. Now, it also could have done the exact opposite. There's two paths that I could have taken from that, and one of them would have led to the destruction of me, and the other one is where I'm standing and sitting in front of you now. After that, I mean, that was one of the lowest points of my life, 100%, as far as mentally, emotionally. I mean, I was distraught about it, but it also made me, kind of hit a reality check and look inwards to myself and see, okay, where can I get better? Where can I improve in this? Where can I improve in that? And ultimately, like I said, that moment led me down this path to where I'm sitting in front of you today. So I don't regret anything about it, and I don't wish that anything changed.
Carson Beck with us, the Georgia quarterback. You've had quite the journey, and people have been paying attention to you for a long time. So obviously, being a high pick in the draft and maybe leading a team to a national championship isn't overwhelming for you because you've always been watched. Yet, I got to ask you, are you caught up in it at all? Are you able to keep that at bay and just make the thing the thing? How hard is that, Carson?
For me, it's super easy, honestly. I don't really look too much into the noise, whether it's good or bad. I just don't. I don't do noise. I don't do pressure. I don't do expectations. And for me, like, there's no expectation or there's nothing that anybody could say about me or put on me that I haven't already put on myself, and probably even more. So, like, there's nothing that anybody could ever say to get into my head because I've been harder on myself, and that's just how I've always been my whole entire life. But also, for me, I'm very externally focused. I very much put my focus on my teammates. I very much is how can I play to make the people around me better, right? And when I do that, it eliminates everything from the outside because I'm not focused on what people have to say about me. I'm focused on my teammates and how I can ultimately make them better.
You made the decision to come back. Why?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but
run us through them. Run us through them.
I think the hardest part for me leaving, not really, how do I say this? Like the reason for staying, but more about like the hardest part of me leaving would be leaving the locker room that we have and leaving the teammates and the connection that, we've all built. That's probably the hardest part because it's a lot different once you go to the next level. It's not like college, and talking to guys that have been through it, that have gone to Georgia, that are now in the NFL. I mean, there's so many different guys that you can conversate with, and they're all just like enjoy it like while you're here because it's different once you get up there. And that ultimately was one of the biggest deciding factors. And then obviously the way the season ended last year, I mean, everybody always asks me like how difficult of a decision was it, and I tell them it was easy. Now, people might have thought it was difficult in the time because, well, I mean, I wasn't just going to say I was coming back off rip, but the second that we lost to Alabama, I knew that I was coming back.
Carson, two-parter. First of all, playing in the Florida-Georgia game, a game you grew up with, what was it like? Was it nerve-wracking? You couldn't wait to do it. You get to do it again now, but what was that like?
Probably my favorite game. Yeah. Favorite game that I've ever played in. It was very full circle, very surreal moment for me, especially growing up, going to the game. It was very emotional running out, going out in the tunnel, just looking around, knowing where I was at home. Like, I grew up here and going to the game for the 3 years before and never getting to play in it, but then finally getting that chance. Like, when I ran out on the field for that first play, like, I was pumped up. I wouldn't say that I really get nervous. I'm more anxious to get out on the field, and then once that first play happens, like, I'm very much in the zone. But that definitely was a game that I enjoyed. Probably my favorite game up to this point, and definitely looking forward to being able to play in it again.
Second part of the Jacksonville question: do you stay in touch with your Jacksonville people? Tanner Bauman just got drafted in the ninth round by the Yankees. You guys had this group. Chris Halter's or Colby Halter's playing. Do you stay in touch with your Jacks peeps at all?
Every now and then. I mean, we don't talk a ton. Obviously, life has taken us in all these different directions, but obviously, I still keep up with all of them and super excited for all their successes.
Well, of course, we're very appreciative of your time. Carson Beck, the quarterback for the University of Georgia, formerly of Mandarin High School. But part of why you're here, too, is to introduce us to the 2024 Georgia roster. You guys certainly had some exciting additions, ranging from a name I know that the Gator fans listening right now are very familiar in Trevor Etienne, to a litany of others. Walk us through the weapons that you will have at your disposal, who you're most excited about for this fall.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's hard to even pick out people specifically. And doing that, I've been trying all day. I've been asked questions, and I honestly don't know if I can pick out anybody specific because there is so much talent and there is so much depth. And I think that's what makes me so excited about our offense and so excited about the team. But also, I don't think that there's any guys that really care, like, if they are like that, like, you know, the flashing light, the blinking light, like, oh, well, I want to be the top target. I want to be. No, like, everybody's very, like, team-oriented. Like, let's get the win and let's get out. And honestly, it's going to be a different guy every week. Just like it was last year, it's a different guy every week. So I'm super excited to see who's going to step up in those big-time moments and who's going to kind of, like, certify themselves as those guys that need the ball when it's crunch time.
Was that a selling point to return everybody you guys are bringing in?
Oh, absolutely.
What quarterback doesn't want great weapons?
Hey, absolutely.
Carson Beck, we're proud of you, man. You've done a great job up there. I know it's going to be a big year. I know you're going crazy around here. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck this year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Carson Beck, good dude, good Jacksonville guy. He's got a chance to be a really, really good player, not just this year. He was a good player last year, but also in the NFL. No one wants to talk about it yet, and I don't blame him. But he's going to be a terrific player. Waited his turn, earned the right to be the most talked about college quarterback right now in the country. He's earned that. Good luck to Carson Beck. One segment to go. You'll hear from Chris Doering, our buddy Chris Doering. Matt and I caught up with him. That's after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
With the second half of the Major League Baseball season starting on Friday, the New York Yankees are the betting favorite to win the American League pennant. The Yankees are plus 240 to represent the AL in the World Series, while the Baltimore Orioles are plus 300. The Minnesota Twins are plus 650. The Cleveland Guardians are plus 700, and the Houston Astros plus 800. Over in the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers are the betting favorite to capture the pennant at plus 175. Philadelphia plus 210. The Atlanta Braves plus 450. And the Milwaukee Brewers are plus 1,200. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Attention homeowners, is it time to get your septic tank pumped out? Don't wait until it's too late. At Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic, our experienced technicians use the latest equipment to pump out your tank safely and efficiently, ensuring that your septic system is running smoothly. Neglecting your septic tank can lead to costly repairs and even health hazards. So call Duck Duck Rooter and schedule your septic tank pumping. Call now, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This summer, Big Chief Tire is teaming up with local nonprofit V for Victory to support local families impacted by cancer. Frank Frangie here. To participate, donate school supplies at any of Big Chief's locations, including Orange Park, Westside, Blanding, Southside, and Northside locations, and receive 10% off your next service. Together, we can make a difference in the Jacksonville community. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to see the full wish list and learn more. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Hey, Matt Hays here with Mike Dempsey, both continuing to reap the benefits of losing weight with Awaken 180. For me, it starts with sleep. That's right, a full night's sleep every night. Another thing, I haven't been sick in months. No colds, no sinus infections. Mike?
Same thing here. My added bonus is I've lost a few more pounds in free maintenance. Crazy to think the weight not only stayed off since last September, but I don't even think about it anymore. With Awaken 180, keeping it off becomes second nature. I've had my cheat days, I have my cheat meals, but it's not really cheating when the results stay the same.
Awaken 180 isn't just about losing weight. It's about enhancing your life, better sleep, better health, and for me, enjoying golf and swimming without joint pain.
When you're not carrying around 40 extra pounds, your joints surely thank you. Have your joints, your heart, and your scale thanking you too, and do what we did online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
This is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here, and it's changing the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. I love the roulette. It's so much fun. It is so easy, and you can't find it anywhere that's better than MyBookie. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Don't miss out on the revamped MyBookie Casino. Use promo code 1010XL. Don't forget that. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You and I know Zero Res loves cleaning carpets in your home. But did you know Zero Res can also clean the carpets where you work? Take a look at the floors where you work. And if they need cleaning, suggest to the boss they call Zero Res. For the month of July, Zero Res offering 20% off all commercial carpet cleaning. Call Zero Res, and they'll come out and give you a free estimate on what it will take to get the job done. Zero Res, man, you spell it forward. Zero Res, you spell it backwards. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
This is big-time boss season.
1010XL takes you to SEC Football Media Days.
They'll have something unique to bring to the game.
Players, coaches, college football insiders. Brought to you by Southern Steer Butcher and Underwood Jewelers.
I love this game. I live this game.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is SEC College Football, SEC Media Days, presented by Underwood Jewelers and Southern Steer Butcher on 1010XL.
And we're winding down our first day here. Do also want to thank our friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Always the Nimnick Tuesday around here. You can't get out of day one without catching up with our good buddy Chris Doring, one of my favorite people. Does a terrific job with SEC Network. Matt Hays and I were with Chris earlier today.
Chris Doring from the SEC Network, of course, former Florida Gator, All-American wide receiver.
This is a home game for me with my boys.
It is, man, right?
Joe and Leon, they didn't make the travel squad? What's up with that?
No, did not make
Had
the travel squad.
Bad preseason?
Bad week of practice, actually.
That's exactly. That's all it takes, man. We got a big roster, bro.
Well, hey, the budgetary constraints are real these days, too.
They are.
Hey, Carson Beck had a bad week of practice and, lost the job. So just a bad week of practice. Do it, man.
How you doing?
I'm good. Good to be back with you guys, man. It's good to be celebrating another start to an SEC season, and it's kind of kind of interesting being here in Dallas, watching OU and Texas folks walk around. It's definitely an adjustment.
It's odd, right?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I want. Listen, I'm old, Chris. Birmingham, Atlanta. It's what old people like old stuff.
You want to kick out A&M and Missouri and go back to how it was. And I think in terms of expansion was inevitable, and I think Texas and Oklahoma really fit in terms of not only the contiguous footprint that Commissioner Sankey talks about, but their logos are iconic and it fits in very well with the rest of the SEC.
The way the world has changed, Chris. Not just the conference expansion and the expansion of the playoff, which we all thought had to happen, but the portal and the way things change and there's no real loyalty anymore. Again, I'm not joking aside a little bit. It does kind of bother me. Does it bother you where we are now?
I think it does. I think there's a lot of fear of disconnect from the fans as it relates to the NIL stuff. That how do we grapple with what's going on there? The transfer portal with guys moving all over the place. There's uncertainty with the Congress's decision about the money, the settlement, and what the future of college football holds. But I honestly believe it feels to me like there's more anticipation for this season than I can remember in a long time. Maybe it's because OU and Texas are in. Maybe it's the 12-team playoff. We're talking about, in this league, I think there's probably 8 teams that may be vying for one of those potential 4 spots that the SEC could get. So I do think there's a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement despite some of the negative things that we've been talking about in the offseason.
By the way, when Big Sur says, who says I didn't make the travel squad, I'm going to say it was you.
No.
I'm going to say that was you, man.
I was on that 96 Jaguar roster where not for long, but I was there for a while, and Big Sur was a presence out there for sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. Why are we such prisoners of the moment in this sport? Whereas for some reason, no one is talking about Oklahoma, man. They beat the hell out of Texas for close to 3 decades in that conference. And now it's all Texas.
And the most experience in the college football playoffs. I mean, they didn't win a whole lot of college football playoff games, but they've been a part of a lot of them. It is interesting. I said the same thing on our show this morning. I think the biggest statement was Texas going to Tuscaloosa last year and beating Alabama the way that they did. It wasn't only a double-digit win. It was a physical push around on the lines of scrimmage deal. And I think that's why we're kind of talking about them a lot. I think it's familiar because we remember Sark from a couple years ago as the OC at Alabama. So we feel like maybe he's got a leg up in terms of acclimating to this league. But I honestly believe that there's a lot of reason to be excited about OU. You go back and look at the job that Brent Venables did from the roster he took over in year 1 to what they did through the transfer portal before last season to upgrade lines of scrimmage. I think they're much more suited to be ready to be an SEC type of team this year too.
To that end.
And by the way, their schedule, Frank, have you seen the schedule, particularly the end of the season? Like Oklahoma's going to have a lot to say about who ends up doing what.
They're going to surprise them.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this, and that's where I was going with this, Chris, when you played, everybody wondered, could they catch Florida? Then for a while, could you catch Alabama? Is Georgia there now, or is the league too good for that to be the case? You know what I mean? Because Georgia's better than everybody, but the margin might not be what it was when you were at Florida and Nick. What do you think about that?
I don't think the margin is as great as it was. And I also think that, you throw Texas and Oklahoma in, it becomes even more challenging. It was interesting to me to listen to Coach Saban. I don't know if you heard him on the SEC Network set yesterday, but he made the statement about, you're not just going to come into this league and dominate when he was talking about Texas. But I think there's also a little bit of that's maybe aimed at Georgia too. And I know they haven't lost a regular season game since 2020, and I know the guy that was the bugaboo to them is now working with us at ESPN and Coach Saban. But I just get the feeling that the margin of talent differential is not as great as it was. And we're talking about Florida's schedule. Why are we not talking about Georgia's schedule? Georgia's schedule is pretty ridiculous as well. You talk about the top probably 4 teams in the SEC. I would say, they play, 3 of those in Ole Miss, Alabama, and who's the other one they play? Missouri. One of the other.
Play Ole Miss, Texas, and
that's it. Texas.
Yep,
forgot about Texas. But so the schedule is really difficult for them, and I find it hard to believe. Vegas has them at 10.5 wins. I could see them losing 2 this year in the regular season.
Okay. I got to ask you this, man. Now, we've been talking about this.
Talking Florida?
4 months, okay? I'm not talking about the big picture. I'm literally talking about one game.
Yeah.
That game is gigantic, the season opener.
I know. I said this the other day.
For both programs.
You guys have been around the program a long time as well. I think it's the most important opening game of the season since I've been a Florida fan, which dates back to the early '80s.
I hear you.
It's the most important. I think it's actually really important for Miami as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario Cristobal is kind of in a similar situation that Billy Napier's in.
Parallel
the
tracks.
winner, at least takes a little pressure off for now. The losers squarely in the bullseye of their fan base. But for Florida too, the schedule is incredibly challenging in the second half of the year. You got to make hay early in the year, and you got to win your home games. I was talking to one of the Florida players, and they're like, "Wow, this is a good season for us. We get 7 home games." And I'm like, "Bro, you guys lost to Arkansas at home. That just because you're playing it at home doesn't mean it's a win. This isn't the days when we were there. We weren't going to lose many home games. You got to show me that the Swamp is the intimidating factor that."
All right, and those are our comments with Chris Doering. We appreciate Chris Doering stopping by. And now we're going to say hello to the head coach of Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz, who joins us now. Put that headset on there, Eli, if you don't mind. Thank you so much for coming by. We sure appreciate it. It was great seeing you. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate it. It's always good to be at SEC Media Days. Always good to be on y'all's show.
Well, we really appreciate that. And listen, congratulations on what you've built. And there were some doubters because it's such a good league. And from where you started, it's pretty amazing what you've built, a legitimate top 10 program. You ought to be proud. And I mean that very sincerely. What a great job.
Well, I appreciate it. And obviously, as the head coach, you get a ton of credit. But really, the credit doesn't belong to me at all. It really belongs to the players in that locker room, and it belongs to the assistant coaches who consistently believed in our message and went out there when it wasn't looking good. When recruits were saying no and they kept going. They stuck to it. And I attribute a lot of our success to Ryan Russell, our Director of Athletic Performance, because he is consistent every day in the message he preaches, and he's gotten that first floor, I call them the first floor generals, Mike Kurowski, our Director of Equipment, Liz Stewart, our Director of Nutrition, Zach Parker, our Director of Athletic Training, and Ryan Russell, our Director of Athletic Performance. Those guys have so much impact on our team, and they reflect the mission of our core values every day, and so they're really ones to be praised, not me.
Matt Hays, Frank Frangie here with Mizzou coach Eli Drinkwitz. Mizzou, Eli, you've been adamant about Mizzou being a place that can win big.
Yeah.
For years. Mm-hmm. When did it turn, you think, last year? When did you think, okay, we got this thing now, we've got a chance?
Honestly, I kind of saw it in the first 2 games. Even though we didn't play particularly well and the scoreboard didn't reflect it, I saw in the fourth quarter of that Middle Tennessee game a team that played together, a team that just missed a few opportunities but offensively sustained drives, defensively got the ball back for us, special teams made a good play. And I felt like that was the recipe for success, at least the successes that I've been a part of. And we kind of put it all together versus K-State. I mean, there were 6-7 lead changes in that game, a team that refused to quit.
Fun game, yeah.
Fun game, and then obviously we make Harrison Mevis makes a 61-yard field goal that is just remarkable. But that's what happens. Special moments are born from special opportunities. As Herb Brooks said in 1980 Miracle, that's what happened in that game. There was a lot of special things that occurred, and now a elite player made an elite play. And
I will tell you, when people watch Mizzou football, you might have the best receiver in the country. You've got a really good veteran quarterback coming back. I mean, there's special players in your program, aren't there?
Yeah, I think that's the thing that makes us different than maybe in the past is you've seen teams in college football have a one good year, and then it takes them 4 years to rebuild it. We're layered right now competitively from a talent standpoint where, we tied the record for most draft picks in Mizzou history, and honestly, I would expect that we will be at that same number this year. I think we have a talented roster that has NFL players riddled throughout, and I think it'll be the same way next year. You're talking about Caden Green, Brett Norfleet, Marquise Johnson, Josh Manning, Chris McClellan. I mean, there's a lot of really good Marvin Burks, really good young Dalen Carnell, young talented players that it's just going to be their time to shine.
It's remarkable what's happened, man, in the last couple of years. I think another remarkable thing that people kind of overlook, we talked about Carson Beck waiting his time.
Yeah.
Brady Cook, man, you tried to find someone else.
I was.
And he just kept coming back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Talk about that story now. He's kind of like a microcosm of what you've done there.
Yeah, we define grit as a stubborn refusal to quit. Right. And that's kind of Brady Cook's story. Like, he's just one of those guys that you're always like, get somebody else in there. And no, it's Brady's in there. And then once he's in there, he just consistently makes plays and does the little things really well. Yeah, we had a saying this spring, little by little, little becomes a lot. And that really defines Brady Cook. Little by little, he just worked every single day to improve his technique, his fundamentals, his mental understanding of the game. He's a very smart football player. Our challenge now is to make sure he's not a celebrity quarterback, and we just need a battlefield commander. And we don't need him to be the next Greg McElroy and being all over, TV shows and all that. We just need him to consistently be a good player.
You know what's funny? Somebody asked me about him. So, what do you think of Brady Cook? I said, you know what? When it's 3rd and 3, he's going to find a way to get those 3 yards.
Yeah, he is.
Whether it's throwing the ball or running it, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's remarkably athletic. He runs the football really well. He's tough as nails, but he's developed a consistency in how he throws the football that's made him an elite player.
Eli, final thing for you here. The world of college football has changed so much. We all know that. The league and the portal and now the 12-team playoff. Do you like where we are, and does it fit what you're trying to do at Missouri?
We are where we're at, and I have no control over what it is or what it will be. My job is to deliver a great product to the fans and to the administration that pays me. And so my job is to be very, very adaptable. What are the rules in place, and how do we utilize those rules to help us have a successful football program? And that's really my job. And I got one of the best jobs in the world, man. The opportunities that are afforded to me and my family because of what I get blessed to do, I got no complaints. Are there things that will ultimately change? Yeah. Do I think they'll be for the better? I don't know. But whatever it will be, we'll make the best of it.
You're a neat guy. You've done a great job there. Congratulations. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate that.
MIZ.
Thank you,
Eli Drinkwitz, the terrific coach at Missouri, as we wrap up a day here at the SEC Media Days in Dallas. That's going to do it for our program, I believe, JJ. I think we're right up against it, are we not?
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, let me tell you where we've been today. We've talked to Josh Heupel, the terrific Tennessee coach, and Eli Drinkwitz, the Missouri coach, and, of course, Kirby Smart, maybe the best program in America, the Georgia coach. Carson Beck stopped by, the terrific quarterback at Georgia. Chris Doring, our friend from Gainesville, stopped by. It was good to catch up with him, and, of course, Matt Moscona, one of the best radio guys around from ESPN Baton Rouge. What a day it's been. What a crazy day. Tomorrow is Florida Day, so certainly Billy Napier and all the Florida people will be by tomorrow, and a whole lot more. Day 2 from Dallas comes up in just a bit. We are out here. Thanks for listening, folks. We sure do appreciate it. It's been a fun day. Thanks to all our coaches and players who stopped by. We'll see you tomorrow. For Mia and Hays, and for Mia and Matt, and for the absent Hays Carlyon, and for JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. Have a great night, everybody.